Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Look at this beautiful start to the day right now in downtown Macon. The time is 6:30 on this April the 26th. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Wanye Reese. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
It is not a bad start to the day out there. You can see it's dry, but as we know, that is not going to be the case as we go through the rest of the week.
Change is on the way, Alex.
That's right. Getting into that usual afternoon, summertime shower and storm pattern. At least that's what it looks like, even though the setup's going to be a little different, but the effects are going to be much of the same. So yeah, the sun beginning to come up, but we've got a lot of clouds in the area, so we're not going to see really too much of a sunrise here in Macon, but in other spots like in Dublin, you will. 61 in Macon right now, winds out of the northeast at about 5 miles an hour. We've got 59 now in Byron and in Warner Robins, 58 in Jeffersonville, 55 in Irwinton, 54 over in Dudley and in Dublin this morning, 59 down in Cochrane, a few more 50s and 60s down to the south as well this morning. Now, we are quiet in central Georgia, a few showers down into Sumter County. One or two of those could work their way into Dooley, maybe even Pulaski County here over the course of the next few minutes, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But temperatures warming through the 60s, back into the 70s by the noon hour, eventually to a high temperature of 80 later on today. That's going to be closer to our average high of 81 for this time of year. Sunrise officially at 6:53. But coming up in a few minutes, we will have more details on the showers and storms expected later on today, and even more so tomorrow evening. And a detailed look at future view is just a moment away.
Thank you, Alex. Today, the Baldwin County School District will follow a normal schedule.
The County Board of Education sent an advisory saying all the schools now have water. Now, some areas are still operating with low water pressure. It comes as the city of Milledgeville and the county try to come together to solve the water pressure issues. The city says the problem most likely will continue into Friday. The emergency water conservation still in effect. Now, with that emergency conservation order, businesses are getting hit yet again by water problems. Aaron Ragland, a server at the local Yokel Cafe in downtown Milledgeville, says the issues change how they operate.
The water pressure is really low, that they're doing something with the piping, so they're wanting us to conserve water.
But Ragland says they're not surprised. She says business has been affected by low to no water in the city before, the last time right after Christmas. For now, they're managing and trying to help conserve water as best they can. Owner of Environmental Care Landscaping, Brett Boone, says his business depends on water. Boone says he usually waters the properties that he manages for 30 minutes 3 times a week. And as the weather gets hotter, plants will wilt.
Last year it was so bad and all the grass was just cooked. It makes me feel bad because without water, I don't have income.
Now, this is not the first time the city's dealt with these water woes. Dozens of businesses closed back in 2016 over a water line break, and hundreds of people went without water last December.
6:33 on your Wednesday morning. For years, Warner Robins police have been understaffed. With that, do you need to be worried about police presence there? Some Warner Robins business owners told us they're not too concerned about the department and its patrols. Just a few miles away from the department, Debbie Boyd, owner of Gigi's Comfort Food, says nearby business owners look out for one another.
We just take care of each other. We don't have any issues. We had one issue a few months ago. Didn't have anything to do with anyone that lived in this community. So what we do is we just try to make this a friendly environment.
That's good. They look out for one another. Boyd says Warner Robins police do a good job patrolling the area. In January, the department was authorized for 135 officers, but had 32 openings.
Well, you could see higher prices at the grocery store if costs go up for growers. It's because of a new federal wage rule that increases temporary worker pay in the agriculture industry by 14%. Lee Dickey, co-owner of Dickey Farm, says the H-2A pay increase will cause his farm to cut back in different ways, which could mean lower production. The H-2A program is used to temporarily allow people into the country to work on agriculture jobs. But Dickey says the pay increase is adding on to other increases, like for fertilizer, fuel, and box costs. H-2A workers were making $11.99 an hour. Now they're making $13.68.
There's just not availability of American workers on that temporary basis. If it was a year-round job, it would be different, but there's a lot of work to do in a very short period of time.
Now, Dickey says because farms cannot increase prices immediately, the farmers will have to eat some of the loss. Plus, increased costs from farms could lead to increased costs at the store. So let's take a look at how farmers can hire temporary workers. If farmers feel that they're short-staffed and can't find people willing to do the work in the states, they can work with the Department of Labor and U.S. Immigration Services to file H-2A applications. The standard filing process for the visa takes 75 days, according to farmers.gov. The farmer applies for a domestic job order and temporary labor certification. The Department of Labor gives the farmer a final decision determining if temporary labor from outside the country is warranted. Then the farmer completes the visa petition and workers apply with the State Department and go through interviews. Finally, approved workers travel to the worksite and arrive on the start date with an arrival and departure record.
Getting you now to your state news. While all eyes are on the White House after President Joe Biden's announcement, Governor Brian Kemp says that he's focused on a win for the future Republican nominee.
Well, look, I don't have a rift with the state GOP. You know, I just think that to win, we have to have a robust ground operation. The state GOP was not doing that. I mean, I'm going to stay engaged, helping our legislative candidates, helping our nominee in 2024, because if we don't win Georgia, we ain't winning the White House.
That's Governor Kemp's message from last night, easing talks of tension in his party after he confirmed that he won't attend the state GOP convention. Well, Atlanta City Council members urging state leaders to mandate body cameras for the Georgia State Patrol and Georgia Bureau of Investigation officers. They introduced the resolution on Monday. This comes after a protester was shot and killed this year at the site of Atlanta's proposed public safety training facility. A Georgia State Patrol trooper shot and killed the protester, but since troopers don't wear body cameras, the shooting was not caught on camera.
Well, the time is 6:37. Today, the Houston County School District will break ground on a new primary school. It starts at 9 a.m. in Perry. The Matt Arthur School is expected to open in August of 2024 and will serve students in pre-K through second grade. It will be over 103,000 square feet with 58 classrooms, plus a gym, media center, and cafeteria. And in Bibb County, the district's nutrition department will offer free meals again this summer for students. Meals will be available to kids under 18 and students over 18 with a mental or physical disability. That includes one free breakfast and one lunch per day. Meals will be eaten on site, whether in the cafeteria or bus.